Wow, that's a big book. What type of book is it, Mango?
It's a 7th grade literature book, Byron.
Wow.
Today, we are going to explore the basics of literature. And we're going to start our first literature unit together.
Yay! I'm so excited.
But before we go on to first unit, we need to understand what literature even is.
Oh yeah, of course. You can't learn literature if you don't know what it is.
Certainly. Literature is a branch of life that concerns reading and writing. It is very important. So, let's just go to a page over here. So these are the basics of literature. Discussing with others and checking to see if the idea is clear or not. But sometimes you have to have the hard conversations. The more widely and deeply you read, the more you'll strengthen your social and emotional skills, and the more likely you are to encounter ideas that are different from your own. Some texts might bring up strong reactions from you, and you'll need to take a step back to understand how you're feeling. Or your classmates might have responses that are dramatically different from yours, and you'll need to take a breath and decide how to engage with them. Remember, it's okay to disagree with a text or with a peer. In fact, discussing a difference of opinion can be one of the most powerful ways to learn. Tips for talking about controversial issues. So, that text is true. In fact, talking in opinion responses can actually help you learn better.
Wow.
The opinion, sure, is not right to you, but it is right to someone else. So that someone else can tell you why your opinion is wrong and tell you how to make it right by explaining. Let's look at 2 male students here. They are discussing. You need to listen actively and communicate clearly. Let's look at what these 2 students are saying. So what I hear you saying is, did I get that right? The reason I think so is because I've noticed that
Wait a minute. They hang off on a cliffhanger a little.
Not too much. Look, they are dots. Those are dots. In other words, this is like a pause. Like he's saying an example, but we can't see the example. It's just an example. So he's saying something, and he is wondering if he got that right. And the other boy thinks so, because he notices that and blah, blah, blah. So, as long as you listen actively and communicate clearly, you should be fine with this conversation. Now with the opposite gender, 2 females. When you use that word, I have a negative reaction because it sounds like you are saying you think that person isn't smart. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. So, word errors. You have to be careful what you say, fellas. Especially curse words. No curse words today. So, you have to be careful, and you need to use precise words in literature. Because if you use the wrong word, then the other person might think the opposite of what it really means, like the isn't smart one. But that's not what you meant, so you need to change how you say words. That is taking a stand against name-calling, belittling, stereotyping, and bias. All right, now switching genders. A male, a female, and another male. Let's look at these. I need to take a break from this conversation now. Okay, pay attention to your feelings, everyone. I know it's not acceptable to feel sad all the time, but it is at least acceptable to feel sad. It's okay not to feel okay. But it is not okay to let your un-okay emotions roam free. That's not good. So, if you need to take a break, take a break. But if an assignment is handed over, you cannot have an excuse to take a break from the assignment. It's mandatory.
What does mandatory mean?
Mandatory means that it is required to do something, so you have to do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right.
So pay attention to your feelings. Sure, we have a lot of bad days in here, but that doesn't mean you have to beat yourself up about those emotions. Just because you're sad or angry or envied does not mean you can let those emotions roam your mind. Think about it. Let's just try to calm down, count to 10 if possible, and even drink water. Drinking water helps me calm down.
Really? I never knew that.
Yes, scientists show that hydration can have a relaxing effect on the body. Now, for the female. We see this really differently, so let's move on for now. Okay, this female has two things that she's doing: considering the relationship and agreeing to disagree.
I've heard agree to disagree before. Basically, that means just to disagree, right?
Yes, you agree to disagree. If you disagree to disagree, then you're not disagreeing.
But does that technically mean you're agreeing?
Yes, and if you agree to disagree, then you disagree. But if you disagree to disagree, you're agreeing.
Oh, sorry, I get the agrees confused all the time.
That's fine. And considering the relationship is also very important in literature. Consider the relationship. Think about it. Teacher and student. What does the student have to do in order to make the relationship peaceful?
He or she has to complete his or her work on time. They need to come prepared. And they shouldn't be slacking or goofing off.
That's right. But it is also a surprise that the teacher also has to do something as well.
The teacher has to do something?
Yes. The teacher has to grade the assignments. The teacher has to work. The teacher even has to email if he or she has the chance. Emailing is important, but there are when not to email times, so be careful. Do not email too often. All right, the last one. I don't agree with you, but I understand why it looks that way from your perspective. All right, now he's learning, growing, and working. Those are 3 important things you should do in order to graduate literature.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not always easy. If you read widely and deeply and try your best to speak honestly, you're likely to gain the understanding and compassion that can help you manage the stresses, challenges, and opportunities that life brings your way. When I read the word read, I kind of sound like a baby, and that's okay. Do not beat yourself up just because you sound like a baby reading. You're just learning to read.
But, should 7th graders already know how to read?
Yes, Byron, but sometimes they are illiterate or unable to read or write. It is actually so common. A lot of teens are illiterate. But literature has a different way of guiding illiterate teens. A system called Braille uses little dots. The teens can touch the dots and do the letters. That's only for blind people, but if they're illiterate, then they can try the Braille too.
Oh, really? Okay. They know the letters, just don't know the words themselves.
Exactly. But you should definitely know the word your, because if you don't, something must be wrong with you. Or you're likely just blind or deaf in any way. So, anyways, now is the time to start our first unit for today. It's called Reality Check.
Wow.
All right, let's turn the page.
Wow. Tropical setting, huh? There's a lizard. But it's not a real one, though.
Exactly. And obviously, we are going to do a reality check, or a check that determines if something is real or not. Now, our first essential question. What can blur the lines between what's real and what's not? Today, we are going to be answering those questions. By answering smaller questions and reading stories. Reading stories is very helpful in literature because, sure, you may rarely read these stories, but sometimes they might even pop up for no reason. And if you're interested in reading, but if you don't know how to read, then you wouldn't know how to succeed. So, yep, I brought my pet Lizzie to go over Unit 1.
Really? Who is he?
He's a lizard.
Wow, very interesting.
Yep. Okay, Byron, this is an example of a reality check. Which lizard is real and which one is not? We'll do an experiment. First, we will have to do it without any hallucination drugs. Byron?
This lizard is real. That is not real.
That's right. Now we'll do a second experiment. Or identify which lizard is real and which one is not by taking hallucination drugs. Come on, Byron. These are not anything serious. They can make you mildly hallucinate. So let's see if Byron's hallucinations can determine his reality.
Whoa, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. What am I seeing right now? Whoa. Okay, I think this is real. It's definitely... This one's not real.
See? Don't worry, it wears off in time.
Phew.
This lizard actually is real, and this is not. So see? Hallucinations can determine your reality. But that's not the answer to the essential question. Beware, we still have a lot more to go through. We didn't even read our first story yet. Sorry, come on, Lizzie. Never mind.
He's a nice lizard.
Yes, he is. So, let's analyze the image first before we read any stories. What does this image say about the nature of reality? So look at all these leaves and branches and the chameleon. Why do you think nature has a lot of reality in it?
Well, for one thing, it has life.
Correct, but let's do a reality check.
What?
What are the effects of seeing the lizards without taking hallucination drugs? Between when you're seeing the lizards taking hallucination drugs. So, no hallucination and hallucination. How does that affect what's real?
Well, hallucinations are kind of like, visual illusions. Like, it tricks your eyes. It tricks your eyes. It tricks your brain. So, if you think that this lizard is real, you might want to think again. This is paper, see? Lizards are not made out of paper. But you would only identify it, if you're very hallucinating. You would only identify it as real if you're hallucinating. Only if you're very hallucinating. It takes a lot of hallucination to determine that this lizard's real. So, yep. It didn't take me much, but it will for you because I'm a dog. Hey, dogs cannot determine what's real and what's not unless they are not hallucinating. And this lizard definitely is real because although it's a toy lizard, you can touch it and it's not made out of paper. And it looks very lifelike too. But this is kind of a drawing, kind of a painting, you see? It's kind of blended in with the leaves. That is what makes it harder to see if it's real. It's kind of camouflaged within the leaves.
You're right. Camouflage is one of the reasons why nature has a lot of reality and also hallucinations in it. So, yep, you're completely right.
Okay.
Now, this is the gateway to literature. The first thing we always do in a unit is to spark learning.
Wow, very cool.
Yep, let's spark the learning. Here's a chance to spark your learning about ideas in Unit 1, Reality Check. Make the connection. Think about the quote by George Lucas on page 1. Oh, we didn't read that yet. Sorry, let's just go back a minute. The quote by George Lucas. Always remember, your focus determines your reality, by George Lucas. All right, now that we've read the quote, let's see if we can answer these two questions. Have you ever confused reality and perception?
What's perception?
Perception is the way you conceive real or not real things. In other words, unreal is not real. So have you ever confused between the two?
Sometimes, yeah, I sometimes have been confusing those, even when I'm not hallucinating. Sometimes I'm too busy on my phone that I don't even know that this is there and I'll crash. Ow! Wait, that was really there? So yeah, see? Just an example of how I confuse reality and perception. How about you guys?
Oh, okay. That sounds very good. But, don't worry if you confuse between the two. It's actually good. It helps you to learn. It helps you to learn why real and non-real things exist.
But why do unreal things exist in the first place?
Byron, we already talked about the reality check. Fiction is not real, but it is still, but it still exists today.
Oh yeah, that's why.
So see? So have you ever confused between the two? Byron said sometimes. I kind of do, although it's very rare. We're going to get this marker. What happened? Sketch or write a few lines about a time when you or someone you know needed a reality check. So, it's almost kind of like a dream, too. Have you ever been in a lucid dream, Byron?
No. What's a lucid dream?
A lucid dream is when you're fully conscious, but you're still dreaming. It can be risky, but the dreams eventually lead you to wake up, so you won't actually be stuck. That's a myth. You won't be stuck in a lucid dream. So don't worry, lucid dreaming people. So anyways, yeah, lucid dreaming. Reality check. So, reality check. I saw this on the media. If you're dreaming, if you're pinching your hand and you're dreaming, the pinch will go right through your hand. But if you're not dreaming, then the pinch will feel painful and outside your hand. So, yep, that's how you can tell if you're dreaming or not dreaming. Another way is to tell if you are really awake. Like, am I still sleeping in bed? What's happening to me? So see, you need to do a reality check, especially if you have hallucinations, because those can be harmful if untreated. So, we are not going to sketch or write a few lines. We're going to sketch only one line today. So, let's just Answer the first question first. Hold on, let me open the marker. There we go. Now, number 1 and number 2. No, I have not confused between reality and perception. Write 1 line about a time when you or someone you know needed a reality check. So, Byron, let's start with you. Did your friend have a lucid dream?
Oh, yes, he kind of did. He had a lucid dream about Pac-Man. I thought he was really there, but turns out I think I saw him sleeping on his bed.
Ah, so he didn't know he was sleeping in his own bed. So he needed a reality check.
Yes, but for some reason I can't join the dream.
But you know what? You actually can join the dream.
Huh?
If you just think about the exact same dream your friend is dreaming and go to sleep healthfully, then you might dream the same dream as your friend is dreaming. And you might join the dream. Or your friend can basically just dream you in the dream, so that you are outside of the dream, but surprisingly inside of the dream too, which makes it more dreamily.
Okay, I'm confusing the dreams. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's kind of a complicated perception thought. But reality checks are not too difficult. Just pinch yourself. Try to see if your head goes through. If it does, then you're probably dreaming. If it's not, then you're probably in a real scenario. So, yep. Sketch a line about a time when you or someone you know needed a reality check. Okay. I am going to just write an example because I know that it didn't happen to either of us. All right. When a friend lucid dreams. So, yep, lucid dreams can have a very confusing effect if something is real or not. Now, let's think about the essential question. It's not about the question itself, but how you say and view the question. What can blur the lines between what's real and what's not? What comes to mind when you think about this question?
Reality comes to mind. Ooh, and kind of focus.
You might be right. Yes. Reality comes to mind. So, yep, reality is a very important thing for life. So, reality and focus come to mind. So, yep, these can both come to mind. And now, the last thing we're going to do is to sound like an expert before we start the stories. So, you can use these academic vocabulary words to write and talk about the topics and themes in the unit. Which of these words do you already feel comfortable using when speaking or writing? So, Byron, let's do the first one. Abnormal. That sounds very weird. That sounds a very weird word. Do you know the word?
For some reason I do. I understand it and I can use it. I think abnormal means not normal, right?
Exactly. You're totally right. Abnormal means unreal or not existing. So abnormal is not normal. So, yep, I can use it. Great job, Byron. All right, now feature. Feature is kind of a simpler word, but also a difficult word at the same time. Byron, do you think you can understand the word feature?
Yeah, I think a feature is kind of like, I don't know, like eyes or noses or, for me, tail. you guys don't have tails, but you understand what I mean.
Okay, Byron, you said your tail is a feature. So a feature.
I don't know how to use it though, but I don't know what feature means either. It's just kind of like body features.
You can't define a word and just say that vocabulary word.
Why not?
Because if I was asked to define the word red, I would say red is red. That's not right. I would instead say red is the first color of the rainbow.
Oh, that seems more accurate.
Correct. So, we can just say I understand it because we might not certainly know it yet, but we might, study it. So, yep, focus. Do you know what focus is?
Oh yeah, I can totally use the word focus. It means to pay attention or look around you, look around. Look at your surroundings.
That's right. But focus also means another thing. Can you tell me what focus also means? Can you tell me what focus also means? Not to just look at your surroundings, but also look at
a certain surrounding.
That's right, because if your teacher wants you to focus and turn your head this way, you can't turn your head that way. That's just right. Not that way, that's down. And you certainly can't do it this way. That's just the left, the opposite of right. So you need to focus in the up direction, or the north direction. It seems more accurate. All right, perceive. That's a very difficult word. We don't know for sure if we can use it, but we can know if we understand it. Let's check. Byron, can you understand the word perceive?
No, I can't understand it.
That's okay. You can just look up the word for future use. Then we can better understand what the word means, because I know words are pretty difficult. And then the last one, task.
Oh yeah, task. I should easily master that one. A task is an accomplishment or something that is or is not required to do, which in this case is required to do.
That's right. A task is kind of an accomplishment.
Wow, you know a lot.
But not as much as Paper Monkey. All right, now we are going to look at the stories that we're reading. So, we are only going to read 2 stories today, but I think it's going to be really helpful to help you understand what the essential question is trying to tell you. So we're going to read Mirror Image and Not Everything It Seems, a short story by Elena Coakley and an article by Arnetta Carter. Being yourself is hard when you're a stranger, and what's the reality behind Instagrammers and the Insta-famous? So, let's go and view the stories. Now, the first thing we do before reading a story is more vocabulary words. Okay, these vocabulary words are as follows: disquiet, prickly, mesmerize, adaptable, and grimace. Can you understand these words? So, only check the boxes of the words you know. Then we can come back to those, only if we know. If we don't know, we'll not come back to them, but, yeah. We'll pretty much know the words.
I don't know what disquiet means.
All right, we'll leave that blank. Do you know what prickly means?
I think so. Prickly means spiky.
Yes, that's right. Let's put a checkbox over it. But it does not always mean spiky, though.
Oh, well, I definitely know the spiky one.
Mesmerize.
I don't know that one.
Adaptable.
Oh, yes. Being able to adapt.
That's correct. And grimace.
Isn't it like a smile or something?
That could be what it means. so you might know the word. All right, there we go. So we understand prickly, adaptable, and grimace. But we still need to practice on disquiet and mesmerize. But don't worry, these words are very hard to understand. All right, let's read our first story. We will take notes as we go along. Mirror Image, a short story by Elena Coakley. Being yourself is hard when you're a stranger, right, Byron?
Yes, being yourself is hard when you're someone another guy doesn't know.
That's correct. And a stranger is someone you don't know. So being yourself can be hard when you're a stranger. Kind of like that. All right. Let's read the first paragraph. If only there were no mirrors, Alice sometimes thought.
She carried one in her backpack, although, wherever she went.
It was a silver-plated mirror where her father had given her with the initials ACS on the back. Just you, Alice, she would say to herself, looking the way you've always looked. Then she'd pull out the mirror. All right, so now we are going to take only a couple of notes. What is the story about?
The story is about a girl named Alice, and she wonders if there are no mirrors.
Correct. Let's write that down. There is a girl named Alice. Looks like I'm running out of room, so that's all we're going to write. And look, this is our first vocabulary word, disquiet. It was disquieting, however, to come upon a mirror without warning. What does disquiet mean? Let's look at the definition. Disquiet is something that disquiets, deprives someone of peace or rest. So it kind of disrupts peace.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like violence?
Kind of, but not too close. That would be harassing. But disquiet is just disrupting peace or rest. So, let's write that down. Let's restate the sentence or what it means. It was disturbing without warning. So, we can rewrite a sentence in a different way that can help us understand the word better. I'm going to write example so that it's just an example sentence that relates to the word disquiet. See? It was disturbing without warning. So, yeah. So, yep. We can circle this sentence. This is the exact same sentence we used in here. All right. Mirrors in unexpected places would make her start and lose her nerve. She avoided the girls' bathroom, remind herself. Oh, wait, sorry. I couldn't read the next paragraph. The next line. Oh, that always confuses me. I skip a line altogether. Alice took to wearing sunglasses all the time to remind herself to keep something constantly in front of her eyes that would remind her that she looked different. So, yep, here's a new one. All right, now we are going to read this. We're not going to take notes here. We're going to skip those notes. So, let's cross out those lines. All right. I thought it was more than that. She thought they were all a little afraid of her. Do you think I move differently? She asked her twin.
Jenny, once identical.
Look how my feet kind of roll when I walk. And my hips. My hips feel totally different. Alice walked across the bedroom like a fashion model, wearing nothing but black bikini underwear. Ooh, gross. Ooh.
So, yeah, the different ways people walk can also determine reality.
Yes, it kind of mirrors. Yeah, and the underwear. Kind of that stuff too. So, let's see. The next vocabulary word is prickly. At first, the world was nothing but a mush of dark images, disconnected voices, and prickly feelings all over her skin. So, like you said, that's right. Prickly means spiky. But can you tell me what prickly also means?
Is it like uncomfortable or tingling?
That's right. It can also be uncomfortable or tingling, which is exactly related. So, yep. All right. Now we're going to annotate. Let's read this first. Alice had to relearn how to move in the hospital and to speak. Review paragraph 6 and underline details that describe what Alice is experiencing. So, let's see. Colors seem different. People's voices were pitched a tone higher. When she tried to speak, she bit her tongue, which seemed enormous in her mouth and tasted funny. So, all right. To annotate is to underline something. So, let's underline all the sentences that we think are important for this paragraph. All right. So, colors seem different. Can that give us a clue as to if she's hallucinating or not?
Oh, maybe. Maybe she is hallucinating.
How to move in the hospital and to speak. She had to relearn. All right. Nothing but a mush of dark images. That could be another reason why she could be hallucinating. All right. People's voices were pitched a tone higher. When she tried to speak, she bit her tongue, which seemed enormous in her mouth, and tasted funny. So, yeah. Let's see. These weren't her hands. This wasn't her breath. That's the accent. The accents are not hands, but the accents are also not breaths. It's just the language. So she might be hallucinating. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think she could be hallucinating, too.
Yes. What do you learn about Alice's situation through the flashback? Her body never had zits, and she hasn't had one yet. But, let's look at the actual situation. How do they move?
Let's see. The twin asked Alice if she moves differently. So, yeah, that could be a very complex situation.
That's right. So, the girls compared how they walked differently. So, all right. I learned that it was a simple reality check. Because, to be quite honestly, it's not only comparing your bodies, which is unhealthy for you, but it's also kind of exploring your own body. Exploring why your body even is real in the first place. Oops, do not add an extra S if it is singular, people. Was a simple reality check, not checks. It looks like I made an error. So, yep, singular and plural are also common errors. So, yep, it's kind of exploring your own body. Like, think about it. Why are you even here right now? Why do you have hands in the first place? Because they enable you to grab and eat things. So, think about it. Why do you have hands? Why are your hands real? Why is your body even here? Why is it even real?
Oh yeah, common sense, logic sense. I can see where you're going with this, Mango. Yes, we all have hands to pick at things. We all have mouths to speak and to eat and to drink too. We have tongues to taste and lick. And animals, but not frogs, have tails so that they can wag. All right. Frogs don't have tails, but you see what I mean. Frogs have a voice sac, which I don't have. The voice sac allows them to communicate. And when it blows up, the frog is probably talking very loudly. And if it is blowing up very little, then the frog's probably talking quietly or even whispering. But, yeah, not all frogs croak. They kind of chirp and squeak, too.
Can you stop talking about frogs?
Yeah, sorry. Completely unrelated to what we're talking about.
Yeah, you also have to watch out what you're talking about. Talking about something completely unrelated to the topic won't help us understand the topic. Common sense. All right, now that we read the short story, let's answer the assessment.
All right, read the excerpt from the story. She put a large bite into her mouth. Bitter, Alice tried hard to swallow, tried hard not to let her face show any reaction to the cake, but the taste of the matcha forced her mouth into a grimace. What does the word grimace suggest about Alice?
Let's see. All right. She is desperate to amuse her mother and sister. Do you think that it's something to do with being desperate?
No, I don't think so. We'll come back to that.
All right. She is struggling to appear the same as always. So, do you think that could be a possibility?
Yeah.
She is upset that her reaction shows she's not good at acting.
Oh, no, not C. She's very good at acting. She's beautiful.
She is sorry she took such a big bite of the cake.
Oh, no, not really. You can take a big bite of the cake as long as you do not have any digestive disorders. So, C and D are not going to be our answers. That leaves us with A and B. The process of elimination. You just eliminate two answers that do not make sense, like C and D, and left with two logical answers, like A and B. Is she desperate to amuse her mother and sister, or is she struggling to appear the same as always?
Well, tastes are different. Everyone has a different taste. So I don't think her mother and sister would be mad if she doesn't like the cake. So it's not A. And I think it's probably B. Yes! Although she doesn't like the cake, the taste of the matcha forced her mouth into a grimace or smile, indicating that it forced her to like the cake, although she doesn't like the cake. So, it is probably B. Yes, B. She is struggling to appear the same as always, like she is struggling to make the same taste. Because everyone has different tastes. We can't make our tastes the same, so it's probably B. All right, this question has two parts. First answer part A, then part B. Part A, how has Alice changed since her accident? Let's see, her looks, tastes, and habits are no longer the same?
It's a possibility.
Her sense of right and wrong are very confused?
Could also be a possibility.
Her physical balance is less steady than it once was?
Kind of.
Her self-confidence is much stronger than before.
No, not D.
So let's see. We come here from three complicated answers. Well, let's see. They are no longer the same, which is changing. But let's see. Let's look through B. Her sense of right and wrong are very confused? Probably not. She can determine between right and wrong. So let's cross out B. Now, we have 2 or C? I think it's pretty safe to say that once she was in the hospital, she probably did not look, taste, or do her habits the same way. So it's probably A. Probably A. Her looks, tastes, and habits are no longer the same. Because when she was retaught at the hospital, she was kind of hallucinating, So now they're different. And part B. What is Alice trying to persuade her family to believe? That she is a better person than she was before the transplant? That she is aware her full recovery will take time? She's not worried about the changes she is experiencing? Or she's the same person she was before the transplant?
Definitely not D. You could be a different person after the transplant, but not a different person, just, a different personality. Or, different feelings after a stressful event. So it is not D, everyone. It's not D.
Let's see. I don't think it is B. I do not think it is B or D. So now we come to two possibilities. Either answer A or answer C. So let's read the text. Let's see. All right. So, Alice probably, at the end of the text, she walked towards home. So, it looks like Alice was here, she thought. So, it looks like Alice is not even worrying. She's just walking towards home. So, I think it's C. She's not worried about the changes she is experiencing. It's because it's just a hallucination, but severe hallucinations can be bad. But mild hallucinations are nothing to worry about. So, let's see. Let's do the next story, everybody. Not everything it seems. All right. Now, let's do these ones. Collaborate, relevant, and skepticism.
I know what collaborate means. It means to kind of work together.
That's right. Cooperate is also similar. Now, relevant. Think about irrelevant. Irrelevant is similar, but it is an antonym or opposite word. So what do you think relevant means? Irrelevant means not related to. So what do you think relevant is?
Relating to?
That's correct. So we can check that one out too. Skepticism.
That's a tricky one. Okay.
Let's think about something skeptical. What does skeptical mean?
It means that a person is kind of suspicious about another person.
That's right. So what do you think skepticism is?
The purpose or belief of being suspicious to another person, but actually just being suspicious kind of for like checking.
That's correct. Skepticism. Correct. So we can check that box too. Golly gee, it looks like we know all of these words. So, achoo! Sorry, excuse me. Having a sneeze today. Not everything it seems. Article by Arnetta Carter. What's the reality behind Instagrammers and the Insta-famous? They are glossy and glamorous. They cover a range of topics. In our everyday world, they set the tone for what's cool and what's not. They drive expensive cars, take incredible trips, and always have the newest things. Most importantly, they affect what others think, watch, and buy. They are killing it. But when you pull back the curtain on social media influencers, are they as real as they seem? So, yep, this is the real person here. And this is the video of the real person. But is that really the real person? So, let's kind of see. In paragraph 1, mark the sentence that helps you understand the author's purpose for writing the article. So, like, why did the author write the article in the first place? It can't be of no reason, then the article can't be published. So, Why did the author publish this article? Let's see. It is kind of about, in our everyday world, they set the tone for what's cool and what's not. Yeah, the Instagrammers and the Insta-famous are the they. Drive expensive cars, take incredible trips, and always have the newest things. They affect what others think, watch, and buy. They're killing it, not important. But when you pull back the curtain, are they as real as they seem? So, yep, when you are kind of being skeptical at social media, I think that you will think that they are not real, but they are really real. Or some of them cannot be real. Let's find out. Let's predict or guess what's going to happen next.
What, superficially, do you think the author wants the reader to understand? Let's see. Aha. They want you to understand why reality is not always real.
That's right, but I need more. Let's look at the sentences we underlined. When you pull back the curtain on social media influencers, are they as real as they seem?
Okay, the author wants the reader to understand that identifying whether social media is real or not takes skepticism.
That's right. That can be a possible hypothesis
Or answer to an experiment.
This is not an experiment, though. Just talking in experiment style. Yeah. All right. They want you to understand. It takes a lot of skepticism to determine what's real and what's not. To reality check. So, yep. Skepticism. So, yep. Pulling back on social media. Real. Is it real? So, yeah. We can use those. All right. Now, we'll read just one more. Popular influencers make lots of money from their connections with followers. They collaborate with advertisers to promote selected brands. I see a vocabulary word. Collaborate. That's right, Byron. If you work together with others, you collaborate with them. So, yep, you are definitely right, Byron. That is the correct definition.
Hooray! Woohoo!
Let's see. Skepticism. It is a doubting or questioning attitude. So, yep, you're kind of right, but kind of off the lines. So, yep, we kind of understand the word. So, it's turning out that we understand skepticism, relevant, and collaborate. Relevant is something meaningful or purposeful, and it is considered relevant if it is meaningful or purposeful. So, yep, that is related to. Good job. So now, we are going to do this assessment, and then that will be it for today. All right, this question has two parts. First, answer part A, then part B. Part A. What's the strongest reason the author gives to support the idea that micro-influencers are very powerful? Okay, let's look at all of these. A. They have millions of followers. They are already well-known celebrities. They seem genuine and relatable, or they show us a life we can only dream about.
So, what's the strongest reason the author gives to support the idea that micro-influencers are very powerful? Let's see. Well, micro-influencers are, cannot be a celebrity right away, so I don't think it's B.
Correct, it's not B. Now, why micro-influencers are very powerful? They have millions of followers. I'm not sure that's such a good idea. It only relates to how many followers they have. So, now we come to two situations, C or D. Let's look at D. They show us a life we can only dream about, or they seem genuine and relatable. So, let's see. Micro-influencers are very powerful because they show us a life we can only dream about? Well, kind of, but I don't think it's D. I think it's C. They seem genuine and relatable. So, yeah. C. They seem genuine and relatable. And if you have seen a micro-influencer before and you see them again on social media, they might seem genuine and relatable to you. Now select the sentence that supports the answer in part A. They drive expensive cars, take incredible trips, and always have the newest things in paragraph 1. Is that the reason why micro-influencers seem genuine and relatable? Is because they drive, take incredible trips, and always have the newest things?
Not always, no.
Yeah, it's not A. Well done. These influencers are somewhat invisible to adults? Definitely not. Not B. They can communicate directly with their followers online and through special in-person events. Or popular influencers make lots of money from their connections with followers. So, I don't think it's C. That would be the D one. So, I think it is D. So yeah, I think it's D. Popular influencers make lots of money from their connections with followers from paragraph 6. What was the author's purpose for writing the section titled Still Killing It? Let's read Still Killing It. The world of influencers is complicated, even for influencers. Their images and videos appear effortless, so followers don't recognize the labor-intensive work behind the scenes. There's constant pressure to stay fresh, engaging, and relevant. So yeah, let's see. It is to persuade readers to become social media influencers? I don't think so. Not A. To entertain readers with stories about what it's like to be a social media influencer? Probably not. Probably informing or persuading. Now, we come down to these two answers, B or C. Let's see. To explain her personal feelings about social media influencers, or to inform readers that being a social media influencer is harder than it appears. So let's see. Let's read back. So, it takes constant pressure to stay fresh, engaging, and relevant, which is hard. So I don't think it's B. I think it's C. To inform readers that being a social media influencer is harder than it appears. So, yeah, being a social media influencer is very tough.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Aw, Lizzie. All right. That is it for us today for now. But don't worry, we'll come back later to answer that essential question.
And, remind me again, what is the essential question?
The essential question is, what can blur the lines between what's real and what's not? We'll answer that question in our next video. Bye-bye!
Bye! Come on, Lizzie, let's go. Ah, cute little fella.